Okay. Everything looks green, so it's your meeting at this point, Mr. Beagle. Let me know if you need anything.
Great, thank you so much. Good evening and welcome to the regular scheduled city council meeting for Tuesday, May 26, 2020. It's a virtual Zoom meeting for Michigan Executive Order 2020-48. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Beagle,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Resnick,
Here.
Councilmember Behrman,
Here.
Councilmember Gotcho,
Here.
Councilmember Grenlin Fox,
Here.
Councilmember Sharp,
Here.
Councilmember Smiley,
Here.
quorum present.
Okay, and at this time, can everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Changes or additions to the agenda tonight? City Manager Brown?
Your Honor, I do not have any changes or additions for the agenda this evening.
Thank you. Anybody from council? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of minutes for the regular city council meeting of May 12th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support? All right, any questions, comments, additions, deletions? All right, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mayor Beagle,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Resnick,
aye.
Councilmember Behrman,
Yes.
Councilmember Gotcho,
Yes.
Councilmember Grenlin Fox,
Yes.
Councilmember Sharp,
Aye.
Councilmember Smiley,
Aye.
7 yes.
Thank you. We have one item under correspondence tonight, and that is the library statistical report for April of 2020. Up next is the first call to the public. The first call to the public is limited to 5 minutes per speaker, addressing agenda items only. The public shall address the council during a call to the public, which shall be included on the agenda immediately after correspondence and again immediately after new business. The first call to the public immediately after correspondence shall be limited to agenda items only. A person shall not address the council in excess of 5 minutes unless the time is extended by a majority vote of the council present. Persons who wish to address the council shall identify themselves and their place of residence and shall state their reasoning for addressing the council. And all comments by the public shall be made directly to the council. And also, if you're one of the audience members tonight and you'd like to ask a question, there's 2 ways you can do it. If you're calling in by phone, press *9 or press your raise hand feature and we will call on you. Do we have anybody for the first call to the public?
I do not see any virtual hands raised at this point. Mayor?
Thank you. I'll close the first call to the public and move on to city manager's report, the departmental reports of April 2020. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Resnick.
Under the water report, I had a question. We had some discussion in the prior meeting about the FOG, the fats, oils, and greases, about the notices being sent via mail while we're still with the stay home, stay safe order. I wonder if letters did go out.
Tim?
It's Ruben. Yeah, I was checking to see if Ruben was here, and I don't think he is. As far as I know, that they had intended to send the letters out, and I have not verified that yet. But
If you could follow up on that, Tim, great.
I will follow up on that. No problem. There was one other
Thank you.
one. Yep.
Councilmember Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to commend Director Sigma on the overtime report for April. There were 0 overtime dollars, so well managed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the city manager reports for April? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Consent agenda. We have one item under the consent agenda item, and all items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the items will be removed from consent agenda and added to the regular agenda at the end of unfinished and new business. Do I have a motion to approve and receive and file the library board minutes of April 27th, 2020?
So moved.
Support.
However you want. Just pick a couple. Can I have a roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk?
Mayor Resnick,
Yes.
Councilmember Behrman,
Yes.
Councilmember Gacho,
Yes.
Councilmember Grenlund Fox,
Yes.
Councilmember Sharp,
Aye.
Councilmember Smiley,
Aye.
Mayor Beagle,
Aye.
7 yes.
Thank you. We have no unfinished business, so we'll move on to the first item under new business, which is a request for city council authorization of the submission of a special license application and resolution to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission, recommending the issuance of a special liquor license for the Wixom Downtown Development Authority 2020 for the 2020 Wixom Block Party event located on Pontiac Trail between Wixom Road and Old Wixom Road on September 12th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Good. Any comments, questions? Councilmember Gacho?
Thank you. I know we do this every year for the block party since the block party has been around, but and it's a relatively small amount of money to apply. But I mean, is this a timeline issue? Can this be pushed back until we have a better idea if we'll be allowed to do a block party by the government, the state government?
We talked about this at the DDA meeting, and no, it's got to be done now because by the time we get it and they process it and stuff, you need to have it. So that's why it's up on the agenda tonight. And like we said, we talked about it, and it's only $50. So if the block party doesn't come to fruition, it's not a whole lot of money, but at least this way they have it in case they're allowed to have the block party. So
Okay.
anybody else? Deputy Mayor Resnick.
I was just going to add to that MLCC is quite backlogged right now with the number of establishments trying to get things through in terms of labeling and packaging. So there is a timeline element to it that if you don't do it now, it may not happen in time.
Yep. Anybody else? Any questions? All right, seeing none, I've got a motion and a second to approve the request for city council authorization of the submission of a special license application and resolution to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission recommending the issuance of a special liquor license for the Wixom Downtown Development Authority 2020 Wixom Block Party event located on Pontiac Trail between Wixom Road and Old Wixom Road on September 12th, 2020. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Behrman,
Yes.
Councilmember Gacho,
Yes.
Councilmember Grenlund Fox,
Yes.
Councilmember Sharp,
Aye.
Councilmember Smiley,
Aye.
Mayor Beagle,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Resnick,
Aye.
7 yes.
Very good, thank you. New business number 2 is consideration of a resolution authorizing the closure of Pontiac Trail between Old Wixom Road and Wixom Road from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. on September 12th, 2020 for the Downtown Development Authority sponsored Wixom Block Party event. A motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any questions? All right, seeing none, I've got a motion and a second to approve the consideration of a resolution authorizing the closure of Pontiac Trail between Old Wixom Road and Wixom Road from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. on September 12th, 2020 for the Downtown Development Authority sponsored Wixom Block Party event. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Gacho,
Yes.
Councilmember Grenlund Fox,
Yes.
Councilmember Sharp,
Aye.
Councilmember Smiley,
Aye.
Mayor Beagle,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Resnick,
Aye.
Councilmember Behrman,
Yes.
7 yes.
Thank you. New business item number 3 is a request for authorization to waive the bid process and purchase roadway de-icing salt from Detroit Salt of Detroit, Michigan through the Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network, Mitten, for the 2020-2021 winter season at $54.25 per ton. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Resnick.
Yes, DPW Director Sigma.
Just close. Okay.
I know that we do this routinely every year.
Yes.
Is there any possibility of a multi-year? Because I went back through my notes and it's 3%
So-
this year and it's 6% the prior year, it looks like.
So this is actually a multi-year. They put it out to bid in 2018, and they had a 3% each year, and as a maximum. And what they do is they guarantee pricing based on the quantities that each of us have over that time period. So this year we lowered it from 1,300 ton to 1,000 ton for Wixom. But then all of Oakland County goes in with that same bid. So they base the pricing on that, and that includes the hauling. So when it went out to bid complete, I think there were 4 participants at that time, and we have not gone back out. We just renewed the contracts that we have. This is the 3rd year of a 5-year potential contract, but we have to review the pricing each year for that contract,
Okay,
just
so
based on
pricing
volume.
is- And did we have a light or a heavier winter event last year?
We had a light winter event last year. In fact, that's why we're lowering the amount that we're going to be using or purchasing next year. We're obligated to 70% of what we say we're going to utilize. So in effect, we're required to buy at least 700 tons. This year, we're still short 600 tons for this past year because we've been trying to lower our quantity of salt on hand so that we can do some minor repairs to our salt building before filling it up for this next winter.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I got a motion and a second to approve the request for authorization to waive the bid process and purchase roadway de-icing salt from the Detroit Salt of Detroit, Michigan through the Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network, Mitten, for the 2020-2021 winter season at $54.25 per ton. Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Grenlund Fox,
Yes.
Councilmember Sharp,
Aye.
Councilmember Smiley,
Aye.
Mayor Beagle,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Resnick,
Aye.
Councilmember Behrman,
Yes.
Councilmember Gotchall,
Yes.
7 yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to new business number 4 is a recommendation to award the 2020 Major Road Improvement Program to Florence Cement Company of Shelby Township, Michigan, in an amount not to exceed $1,104,862.57 and approve the associated budget amendments. Motion?
So moved.
Support?
Support.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Councilmember Grenlund Fox?
So I see that we need a budget amendment, that the bids came in over budget by, I mean, not a lot, but I'm just wondering, was there a change in scope, or is it higher cost than we thought as far as project supplies?
There was a little bit of a higher cost. We were hoping that the pricing would be just a little bit lower, but then we also changed the scope on the crossing in front of the Walled Lake School. We added that piece to the contract, so it did bump it up a little bit there as well. So we have some lighting changes that we're going to be doing too. So that was a little bit of both. Not a terrible increase, but it's still a recognized piece that we missed.
So it sounds like the scope, for the increase in scope, maybe it wasn't too bad.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilmember Gotchel, did you have a question?
I did, thank you. I know the note here from the engineer says that Florence Cement has worked on similar projects before. Have we worked with them as a city before? Like Cadillac Asphalt is a name I recognize as us having worked with quite a bit.
Yep. Yeah, we actually we did work with Florence with some of the improvements that we did in 2018, I believe, where they did the Magellan fixes and parts of Lori Lane and with Cartier. There were some fixes there as well. So we have worked with them in the past.
Are those still holding up pretty well comparatively?
Yeah, quality wise, they're a good group.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Smiley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Sigma, just a couple small questions. What is the, I tried to figure this out from the packet, I just couldn't figure it out. What's the distance in miles that's being covered?
It's just a mile from Potter Road to Pontiac Trail, I believe. It's just over a mile.
A mile, okay.
Yep.
And a little more than that? Okay. Because
Yep.
you've always, in the past, you've told us the rule of thumb's about $1 million per mile. So this lines up with that.
Yep.
So that lines up with the rule of thumb roughly for now.
Yeah. Yep. And well, this is typically a lane mile, and this is an overlay. So there's areas of Beck Road that are 3 lanes. So it does get wide there. So yeah, it's reasonable pricing.
And like you said, there's things there's other variables, but just the rough idea.
Yeah.
It's in that neighborhood. Also,
Yes,
what's the timetable expected? Assuming we approve this tonight. What's the
assuming we
timetable?
approve this, we hope to get the majority of it done during the summer months so that it's out of school, but then finalizing it by the end of November.
Okay. So
Yeah.
traffic doable by the end
Yes,
of summer and then polished up by the fall. Okay.
correct. And yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's all I had.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? All right, Tim, I would like to get some type of map or something, because I'm still not convinced that some of this road isn't in Commerce Township. And I know that our taxpayers wouldn't be too happy if we're paying for pavement
Yes.
or crossing improvements in Commerce Township.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
not-
sir. We did look at that, and that all of this roadway is in the city of Wixom. It goes along the eastern our eastern border all the way down.
Okay, because where is the line then? Because if there's a medical emergency or some type of emergency at Western or at Kroger or anything like that, that's Commerce Township. So
It is.
it can't be too far from the edge of the road.
It's the sidewalk, basically.
Right away.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? All right, with that, I have a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to award the 2020 Major Road Improvement Program to Florence Cement Company, Shelby Township, in the amount not to exceed $1,104,000 $862.57 and approve the associated budget amendment. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Sharp,
Aye.
Councilmember Smiley,
Aye.
Mayor Beagle,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Resnick,
Aye.
Councilmember Behrman,
Yes.
Councilmember Gotchall,
Yes.
Councilmember Grenlund Fox,
Yes.
7 yes.
Thank you. New business number 5 is a recommendation to increase the construction award to Great Lakes Contracting Solutions LLC of Waterford, Michigan, in the amount of $210,000 and increase the construction engineering award to the city's engineering firm, Hull, Roth and Clark Incorporated, in the amount of $25,000, along with approval of the associated budget amendments required to continue the 2019 Industrial Road Construction Maintenance Program. Motion?
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilmember Behrman.
I can understand by looking at the report that, you know, we determined that more concrete work needed to be done. But I guess I wasn't abundantly clear on where the extra $25,000 for engineering is required. I mean, I almost would have assumed that they're just deciding more panels need to be coming out. And I just don't necessarily know. I don't see the correlation there. Just because they're doing more construction work, I feel like all the engineering would have been done by now for this project.
The design work is definitely done. The construction work still needs to be monitored. And actually, DPW is, we have 2 guys that are alternating there as inspectors as well, trying to defer some of the cost from HRC back to the city. So we're actually doing some of that inspection in-house. And if the 25,000 is more of just in case we can't complete all of it through in-house practices, we'd need to have HRC do some of that work for us. Additionally, each pour that's made does get tested. So there's some concrete testing that we do on each of those. So they hold them for a period of up to 10 days and then do some crush testing to make sure that the mixes are proper and that also the cement work is up to standard. So there are some things that they'll have to do even with our DPW's help. And so that's where the additional piece is for HRC. If we don't utilize it, they won't bill us for it. If they're not there, they don't bill us for it. So we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do all of that inspection, in-house or not. So we wanted to, just make sure and only ask for it once. So it doesn't automatically go to them until they do the time or do the concrete inspection work.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Darga, would you like to add anything or?
No, I think Tim covered it pretty well. I probably should have labeled that more of a not to exceed amount than just saying straight 25,000. And that is just percentage wise. That's all it is so we have enough hours in there to, like Tim said, complete the testing. But there's also some admin. We have to certify payroll or pay estimates.
Pay receipts.
And that type of stuff. So there is admin time in there. Plus, we have one of our inspectors stopping out when the DPW guys call them to help out. So there is still some construction engineering going on.
Good. Thank you. Councilmember Smiley.
Just to inject a little comment, I believe in our packet it says, Tim, that we can't do the testing. So we're going to do whatever we can to keep that 25,000 down.
Right.
There's just some stuff that HRC is going to have to be doing. So some portion of this will be needed.
That's correct.
Hopefully less than, but
more.
Do what you got to do. I assume you guys won't be there because you'll be busy doing something else, you know, so it is what it is. That's all.
Deputy Mayor Resnick.
Tim, in your brief, you mentioned that DPW is qualified to do some of the site inspection work during the construction phases, and we're not capable of doing the concrete testing. Is there a certification program at all that one of our guys could go through and then work with whatever lab does the testing itself? Just curious.
There is that. I'm sure we could get some of that. Some of it is actual testing of with the mechanical crusher and that kind of thing that we would need to utilize as well. So yes, we can make sure that all of the we can measure all the concrete as it's being poured. We can make sure that all of the pins that are going in every 2 feet are installed and are picked up when the concrete's being put in. We can do the road work. We can work with the residents along the roadway to make sure that they have access in and out while we're doing some of that concrete work. But some of that is still it's in our best interest to have someone else do that. It's like water sampling, if you will. It's just a quality assurance.
Understood. Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So it doesn't appear that the issues with the construction company that we hired, it looks like the issues with the estimate of the work that needed to be done. So I'd like to look at those 3 bullet points that are in the summary and go from bottom to top, just so I can understand. It says additional work on the Wixom Road project was added, Wixom Road approach was added to the project. Is that additional scope in the project or additional area that was outlined in the defined perimeter, and we just didn't understand that we were going to need to do the Wixom Road approach?
So when we estimated it back 2 years ago, we looked at that road and we saw failures in different areas, and we went and estimated how much was there. Since then, once the traffic cleared, we inspected it again and we saw more cracks than when we inspected it initially. And so that piece was there. And then also the panels, when we looked at the quality and going with a 20, what would be a 28 instead of a 30-inch, or the panel itself, when you're cutting them out, if you go just a little bit larger, that's more concrete that would need to be done. And so any 6-inch span over that concrete cut is going to add value on one end, but then also costs for concrete and saw time and those kind of things. So those things, when we inspected it initially on this concrete road, it was under traffic. And once the traffic clears, because we've got it sectioned off, we can really look at it and say, okay, this one needs to be done, and we can let this piece go. And yeah, it was more than we had expected. Additionally, over the winter months, the freeze thaws on the westbound lanes, there was more degradation again this year, as it gets incrementally worse.
When was the original estimate? Was that last year this time, or was it a year prior to that? Was it 2000? Because we just heard that the winter was mild this past year with.
We did. Yep. And yep, that's yeah, and it was, I guess it was this during budget season last year. So yeah, it was 18.
So
yeah,
it was June 11th was when we awarded it.
My point about the intervening winter weather. I mean, we knew winter was going to happen, and it actually was a milder winter than we expected because we bought too much salt. So,
we had,
and then the road closure, I suppose I could handle, made inspection efforts safer and more effective, but this is HRC's profession, is to go out and inspect these things, and they missed it by 33%. And I know from previous meetings, we're paying quite a bit of money for that review. So I'm feeling like we didn't get the A team on the on the initial estimate from HRC. I'm wondering about Beck Road and the others now that we got, $1 million
Well-
for that one.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm calling you out.
Yeah, well, part of the problem, like we're talking about, the approach here to Wixom Road, I mean, that's probably the most traffic in that section. And we did look at this. It probably cut us loose in June. So we probably looked at it, July-ish. So it would have been, in the middle of last summer. So at the time, yeah, we're looking at it under traffic. You make some assumptions that like a crack repair is only going to be 3 feet wide. But once we get out there and start marking it up and making some saw cuts, you see maybe 3 foot's not working with this concrete. You have to go 4 or 5 foot wide. And by the time you do that, you look down, you're like, why don't we just take the whole slab out now? And you're making it worse by taking, bits and pieces. So that's why there was more area during construction than originally anticipated. But your point there about the milder winter, it's almost, for concrete roads in this shape,
Right.
It's almost worse getting, lots of rain and not freezing. Everything kind of falls apart more with the milder weather. Whereas freezing, everything would kind of be solid. So now we kind of have rain coming down there and all these joints just kept getting run over and they're wet and gravel's rolling away from it. So it did make it worse.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right. I've got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to increase the construction award to Great Lakes Contracting Solutions LLC of Waterford, Michigan in the amount of $210,000 and increase the construction engineering award to the city's engineering firm, Hubble Roth and Clark Incorporated in the amount of $25,000, along with approval of the associated budget amendments required to continue the 2019 Industrial Road Construction and Maintenance Program. Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Member Smiley,
Aye.
Mayor Beagle,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Resnick,
Aye.
Councilmember Behrman,
Yes.
Councilmember Gotchall,
Yes.
Councilmember Grenlund Fox,
Yes.
Councilmember Sharp,
Aye.
7 yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is the second call to the public. The rules to this call to the public are the same as the first, except you can speak whatever's on your mind. Remember, if you're in the audience and you're on the cell phone, it's to raise your hand, it's *9. And if you're on the video, just use your raised hand part of it. Do we see anybody?
We do, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
I will admit them into the meeting now. They do not have a phone number showing, but we'll admit them now and see what we can do here. Oh, call-in user, can you hear us?
Yes, I think I'm up.
Yes, please state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't think about muting my phone number. My name is Dan Aubrey. I live at 3569 Barberry in Wixom in the Hidden Creek subdivision. I have a question concerning the new street lights newly installed over at Stonegate Village here off of Wixom Road in Charms. We're having a pretty serious issue in our house, and I assume the other houses are that back up to the creek, with the horribly bright lights that shine in through the back windows. There's a little bit of width left, but it doesn't block all of the lighting. And I was just wondering if they plan on putting some type of shielding on the lights. As you can tell that they're 360 lighting, so there's a lot of wasted light going elsewhere. But or at least if the developer can turn off the lights on the back street there until at least the homes are built to block some of the lighting. Is there anything that can be done about this?
I don't know if we can or not, but we'll have our building department look into this and see what we can do about it.
Yes, I would definitely appreciate it. I understand development's going to happen here, but not at the cost of the existing residents, because it's not just a light. It's like having a 300-watt spotlight shining right in your back window from 10 feet away. It's quite annoying. And the second part I just want to finish up with is this: these meetings for the city council also on the Zoom platform, in as far as the video aspect of it for the public to view?
Yes.
Yes, it's available on the YouTube channel. If you go to the Wixom homepage, there is a link there that will lead you to the Wixom YouTube channel. You can actually watch this meeting right now live.
Okay, but I have the Zoom installed, and I entered the ID and the password, and nothing ever came up. So is that option available to me?
Not as a video option, but as a traditional telephone option it is.
Okay, that's what I'm on now. All right, I would appreciate if someone could please look into these lights to see what they could do with some type of shielding, or as I suggest, and these are just my suggestions, at least have the lights turned off until the homes are built, which at the rate this developer's going now could be 2 or 3 years before we see houses along there. But anyway, that's just my comment, and thank you for listening.
You're welcome, and I took notes of that, and I'll contact our building department tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Thanks for calling in. Any other one, Mr. Milburn?
I see no other hands raised at this point, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. I'll close the second call to the public and move on to city manager's comments. Mr. Brown.
Your Honor, I didn't have anything to add beyond the basic content of the city manager's update with the work anniversaries that we're celebrating, and also the tentative event information still reflected there for future actions here that we may or may not be able to follow through on in the end. But we're looking at those events on a monthly basis, and we're going to be looking at our next set of monthly events in July. So we'll have some further information on that at the next meeting. Other than that, I had nothing else to add, sir.
Very good. All right, we're going to go to council member comments, and council member Sharp.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, congratulations to the work anniversaries. I noticed Tim Sickman's got 5 years in. Thank you. And I also wanted to comment, DPW did a nice repair job on a plow damage across the street from me. Grass is already regrowing in there. So I got to get your blend that you use because it really looks good already. Also wanted to add to the comment we heard from the homeowner there about the lights. I noticed the lights as well on the little Charms Court. And I haven't had a chance to ask Director Sickma about who pays the electric bill. I assume the subdivision does, but they look to be sodium halide lights, really bright white. The lamps themselves are beautiful, but the light they emit is not. And so I will support looking into that with that homeowner's comments earlier. And whether, there's an LED solution or something that's less obtrusive and maybe a little warmer. Anyway, that's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Councilmember Berman.
No comments this evening. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Gacho.
Just wanted to share my thoughts and condolences with Sergeant McKay and his family right now. And as he knows, he has a big family in the city and the police department. And I hope if they need anything, they know to reach out to us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Councilmember Smiley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My condolences too to Sergeant Louis McCaig and his family on the passing of his mother. And then congratulations to our high school seniors. They finished up classes. I know the district is working hard to find an appropriate way and a way to celebrate their accomplishments. Class of 2020 will always be that special class that had to endure an abbreviated year. And our heart goes out to them, but it'll make them stronger. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome. Councilmember Grenlund Fox.
Nothing additional to add this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Very good. Deputy Mayor Resnick.
I just want to offer my condolences as well from myself and my family to the family of Sergeant Lou McCaig and his loss. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And mine and my family's thoughts and prayers go out to Sergeant McKay and his family at this time. And I'd like to congratulate everybody with the work anniversary. I really appreciate everything that you guys do for the city, your hard work and dedication to our citizens. And last but not least, I got a kudo to our librarian, Andrea Dixon. I got a phone call from a resident who was having problems trying to download some ebooks or something like that. And guy's not very computer savvy, and she stayed with him till like 8:30 at night working through getting the problems and getting those books loaded onto his phone. He really appreciated that. So thank you, Andrea, for your hard work and dedication to our citizens. And with that, do I got a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
Support.
All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Very good. Thank you, guys. Have a great night. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right.
I just have to let YouTube wind down for 30 seconds here. Feel free to log off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, Ken.
Thank you. You too, Mr. Mayor.